Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday Eve. Let me just get that out now to annoy Chris, but it is what it is. We've got so much to talk about today. We've just been having a good time behind the scenes, so this show is going to be absolutely fantastic. Of course, I know you guys saw, or at least I hope you saw, Kyrie broke his silence. Chris is going to tell us more about that in the post-up. James Harden seems to be a little bit annoyed by that, but also we're going to talk about the 76ers, and they have this whole Disney fantasy in their head. We're going to break that down. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. And now here's the Fumble Squad. I'm your girl, Jackie Ray. You can follow me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic.
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K. And with CK2K, you find Knicks content. I have to answer this question in the chat. Kevin L. Lane saying, CK2K, why are the Knicks playing preseason games like it was Game 7 in the NBA Finals? Two answers. One, we got a lot of depth, and two, Tom Thibodeau. That's all it is. Tom Thibodeau don't understand the difference between a preseason and a regular season game. Julius Randle played 38 minutes last night in a preseason game. Yeah, Tom Thibodeau don't understand the difference. You don't understand the difference.
You know, Chris, you are the only person that I know says the TH in his name. Everybody else says Thibodeau. You say Thibodeau.
Yeah, I do say Thibodeau.
You're the only person I know that says it like that.
Yeah.
Is that the right way?
I don't know. Look, Jack, the thing is, I know we give you a lot of slack, but I'm pretty notorious for messing up names as well. I do call him Tibbs, but then when I say Thibodeau, the TH is there. I learned in school that you have to pronounce your THs as so I thought it was Thibodeau, but I could be wrong. Thibodeau or Thibodeau family, let me know.
Yeah, do you say Rajon or Rajon?
I say Rajon Rondo.
You say Rajon.
Yeah, and because of that, I joke around and say pass the Parmesan, like Parmesan cheese. I would pass the Parmesan.
Lord Jesus.
But yeah, I say Rajon Rondo.
All right. I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but let's get into this first need to know news, because this one is funny to me, because I just think that I just hear Disney music playing in the background when I think about this, because we've said time and time again, Chris and I have said that the 76ers need to lower their price for Ben Simmons. They have said no. Not only are they not going to lower their price, they're going to go for two people who have said we are content to stay where we are and lose. That just seems like a lot when you really break it down. But the 76ers apparently want either Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard. So let's just break this down contractually just to see if we can make it make sense. So Bradley Beal's contract is through 2023, and he's set to earn $33.7 million this year, $36.4 million next year. Damian Lillard, on the other hand, he won't be a free agent until 2025, and he gets more expensive every year. So he's set to earn $39.3 million this year, $42.4 next season, $45.6, and then $48.7 in the 2024-25 season. Ben Simmons' contract is also until 2025, but he doesn't earn as much. So he's got $33 million this year, 35, 37, and then 40 in the final season of his contract. So even though I think this is one of the dumbest things that has come out about this whole 76ers situation with Ben Simmons, if this is what you're hell-bent on, financially speaking, I think that Bradley Beal is your only option. But Chris, first and foremost, what do you think about this thought process that they're just going to hold out until they can get either Bradley Beal or Dame Dollar?
I think this just tells you more about that front office that we already, I mean, it just confirms what we already knew about this front office, because like we've been saying, you got to bring down the trading price, and they're like, no, but just wait, just trust me. We can get Damian Lillard and we can get Bradley Beal. Just believe us. Just believe us. And I don't know. Like I said, I've been preaching it to whoever listens. I feel like there was so many other packages that they could have gotten that wouldn't have been rushed, and that would have still helped them out in the long run. Like I've been mentioning with Sacramento for over and over and over again. But I mean, if they truly believe that this is going to happen, then hey man, let them keep sitting and waiting while their team burns to the ground and their fan base does it for them. You know what I mean? Because I just Bradley Beal, I've given up on Bradley Beal leaving Washington. That man's going to retire a Wizard. He's going to retire the greatest Washington Bullet Wizard, whatever you want to say, general to ever play in the history of that city. He's not going anywhere. And the Damian Lillard thing too. I don't know if that's the one. I don't know if that's the move. I think we actually talked about this months ago. I just don't think that that's the move that ends up happening for Portland. So, I mean, if they believe, you know what, maybe they should be sponsored. But like you mentioned, they should be sponsored by Disneyland because dreams do come true in Disney movies. So we'll see.
They do. Now, Kevin in the chat, he made a good point. Where to go? I missed it. He said the Wizards have quietly built a squad, though. Beal may be interested. So they have, because now they have KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Spencer's over there. However you feel about that, but it's it's a better squad. Chris?
I cannot believe I cannot. I'm not entertaining this conversation.
Squad.
It's better, sure, but when you start the conversation, they got KCP, Kyle Kuzma. Like I'm not even a Spencer Dinwiddie fan, but I would have been fine if you at least started with Spencer Dinwiddie. You started with Kyle Kuzma. Shout out to Kyle Kuzma. That man had 24 the other night. Could not miss a bucket.
That's your man's 50 grand.
No. Yes, I will say this. All right, let me get my hate aside. Yes, they got better, but at the same time. Yes. Let's talk about their record this season. That's all I'm going to say. Unless Bradley Beal goes off and has another 36, 37 point per game season, let's slow it down on the Wizards.
But don't forget, Kyle Kuzma said in any other situation, he'd be the number one guy. So
he also said that the only person that can lock him up was Jesus. All right, and Jesus been locking them up since that quote. Ever since that quote, Jesus been locking them up. He said, "Oh yeah, bet." Ever since that quote, Kyle Kuzma has never been the same. So I can't. Oh my gosh. Kuzma balling. This is what I'm talking about. Everyone has amnesia when it comes to that kid, but anybody else that's young, people ready to kill him. Like if a person can have like 5 good games and have 1 bad game, they kill him. Kyle Kuzma have 4 bad games, have that 1 good game. Oh yeah, Kuzma got something going on. He started to cook now. Oh my gosh, man. Sorry. We didn't even talk about the Wizards.
You know what? It's so great that it's someone besides me that's bashing Kyle Kuzma. That has been my job for so long, so I appreciate you right now. But let's get back to the 76ers. Because here's the thing. Something has to happen by December, in my opinion. Because I feel like things are going to get progressively worse. Ben Simmons is going to go out there with this I don't want to be here mindset, and he's been declining every single season while supposedly trying to prove something. I don't think he's going to go out there and be exponentially better when he doesn't want to be there. So what happens in December? What options do they have come the trade deadline?
And they came in right at the end of the whole debacle until he finally decided I'm sticking with my Sacramento Guns, especially if we're talking about December, because there's a lot. The Kings are one of those teams that always start the years with hype because they have good players and people think maybe this is the year, but then the Kings remind us that they're still the Sacramento Kings and then they have a bad start. So I feel like players may be available. De'Aaron Fox could be frustrated by that time and there could be a behind the scenes conversation. So I'm sticking to my Kings on this one for that move to make sense because I just feel like that makes sense on both sides. But as far as anybody else, it really depends on how he plays for any other phone calls to be made. Maybe, like y'all have been talking about with this Kyrie thing, I don't think there's a Kyrie for Ben Simmons swap, but maybe something like that happens. Maybe it becomes available. I think it was you, or maybe it was, I can't remember if it was Kevin Pryor or you that mentioned it, that maybe this is something that's known behind the scenes. And Rich Paul told Ben Simmons, like, yo, just go out there, put up some good stats, play well, do what you got to do, and then we can have that conversation and maybe swap you and get you to Brooklyn. Or I can't remember who it was that said that, but that could be a scenario. But I think it all depends on how well he plays and how well he faces the adversity of playing in Philadelphia, because every game is going to be a away game for Ben Simmons until Philly just decides maybe, okay, we'll be fine with them now. So I just feel like it really depends on how he plays. But as far as who else is going to make an offer, I don't know. He has to up his his trade value again before we can have that conversation. But I'm sticking to Sacramento. I'm never going to let them go because I feel like there's something there.
I am going to double down on my Kyrie to the 76ers, and I'm going to tell you why in the post-up, just because I learned some new information that I'll tell you in the post-up when you talk about it a little bit. But also, Shams has hinted to the fact that this might be a thing. Take a look, see. What is happening over there? What
My
are you
headphones
doing?
got stuck. I fixed them. My headphones are stuck.
Take a look at this. Take a look at this tweet from Shams. He says, I think rival teams right now feel that Brooklyn is at least open to hearing any types of significant offers. As far as teams being interested, I mean, there's definitely already teams that would have a level of interest. And then, of course, there's this picture with it. So when he was asked about it, he hinted at there might be some conversations that are happening right now behind the scenes between the 76ers and the Nets. So I'm going to stick to that, especially, I'm not going to talk about right now, but when we get to the post-up, where I did a stand-up on it, I don't know if that's up now or if it'll be up after the show, but this is a possibility for me, even stronger than it was yesterday. But let's move on, because I see your wheels are turning like, what could it be?
We'll talk
Let's move on to the next one, because this one's interesting to me, especially me being a long time, forever, day one LeBron James fan. And then it was always told I always heard, well, he's in the East, he's in the East, he's in the East. He can't do it in the West. And then he comes to the West and he does it in the West. And then it's like, oh, yeah, well, we can't do it again because he's old. What the hell? Y'all said he couldn't do it anyway. Yep. It's always been this narrative that the West is exponentially better than the East. But now here we are. The Bucks have won their title. Congratulations to Giannis and them again. And now when you really look back at the conversations that we've had on the morning show, we're talking about the 76ers, we're talking about the Knicks, we're talking about the Bucks, the Knicks. We're only talking about the Knicks because of you, though. But other than that, aside from me being a LeBron James fan, as far as in the West, we're really just talking about the Lakers. We've not once during this offseason talked about the Utah Jazz, and they had the best record in the league, and we have not mentioned them one time. And aside from Devin Booker looking up and daydreaming about the Lakers, we really haven't talked about the Suns. Mm-hmm. So this has started this whole conversation. Are we seeing this shift to where now the East, because the East has a lot of big names in it now too, are we seeing a shift where the East is now more dominant than the West?
No. I think that the reason why we're not talking about the West is why the West is still more dominant than the East. Everything we've mentioned, outside of the Bucks and outside of the Knicks, okay, when we talk about the Knicks, it's good things. Ain't no drama this year. Y'all ain't gonna put that on us this year. We doing what we supposed to do. We staying in our lane. But yeah, I mean, when we talk about the Eastern Conference, it's almost like we're trying to fish for something because we want the East to catch up. The reason why we're not talking about the West is because there ain't nothing to talk about, because we know that it's going to be, once again, another year of the Wild Wild West. Jackie, can you sit here and confidently tell me who you think the top three teams are going to be in the Western Conference without saying I think or maybe? Could you confidently tell me the top three teams in the Western Conference this year? You know what I mean? Like, I have like the Nuggets, Jazz, and Suns, but if you said the Lakers, Suns, and Jazz, or Lakers, Suns, Nuggets, or something like that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, you're crazy, because it could happen. It's definitely a very big possibility. So yes, the East got way better. We're going to be talking about them a lot more because there's going to be a lot more shift, a lot like the West is. But at the same time, to say that they're better than the West, I cannot co-sign that. I cannot, because the West is going to be like, they're going to have several teams with 50 wins, while the East aren't. Right. They're not there yet. They might have all teams over 500 finally in the playoffs, but they're not going to have that. The West still going to have several teams above 50 wins that are in the playoffs, and I don't think they passed them yet.
I just want to highlight the disrespect. You just rattled off a whole bunch of teams. Not once did you mention the team that has Kawhi Leonard on it. You didn't even say the Clippers.
I'm sorry, Kawhi Leonard playing this season. Thank you. I love you, PG.
Okay,
love you, PG.
But what about? Okay, yeah, you're not gonna give Paul George any credit.
Look, I did a whole stand-in show with my homie, and even then, I put the Clippers at 7. So it's respect, and the thing is, they can surprise people. But look, Jackie, the Nuggets are finally fully back in action. Jokic just got MVP, and they weren't even 100% yet. Jamal's back. You know, the Lakers are fine-tuned, and they got all this fine wine. They're a whole wine cellar of a team right now, and we're gonna see how they're gonna run in the playoffs. So we'll see how they show up. I had to do. I'm sorry, it's a bunch of old dudes. I had to compare it to one. And then they got the Jazz coming back with another year. Will Phoenix? Like, there's so many other teams right now that are fully healthy in the Western Conference, and that's not no disrespect to the Clippers. Clippers still gonna be good, but are they gonna be as good as those teams? I just don't think so. Not yet. Not without Kawhi.
I agree, but I am already immediately concerned about my Lakers. I think, if I'm going to call it myself, I'm still, and I understand that it's my LeBron James fandom, but I'm still going in no particular order. I'm going Lakers, Jazz, and Nuggets. However, here we are in the preseason, and we've got Trevor Ariza's hurt. THT is hurt.
Right.
And it's like, okay, here we go. Like, what is it about to be? So that is very concerning to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if injuries do plague, the Lakers. So
but that's the beauty of the Lakers, man. Standing doesn't matter for the Lakers. You know that. You know the Lakers don't give a damn about where they are. They can be Not 8 through whatever. I'm sure they just don't want to be in the play-in, but they can be wherever they are as long as everyone's healthy come playoffs. They're going to figure it out. So I don't think the Lakers need to worry about standing the way other teams need to.
Well, I'm glad that's not a blue check mark by that Skip Bayless, because I was about to really talk bad about you because you get on my last nerve, sir. But you're not the real Skip Bayless, so I'm going to let that pass. I'm going to let it slide. But that's all we got for Need to Know News. Chris, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, on this fine Thursday, I got a post-up for you guys. And yes, you know what we're going to start off with, because if we have not talked about it already, we got to talk about it here on the post up, and that is none other than the famous Kyrie Irving live that happened last night. Here I am just enjoying my Knicks win. I was on post game. We were doing our thing, and during that whole entire thing, I'm saying, "You seeing Kyrie? Kyrie saying this, Kyrie that." Stephen A. Smith was responding, all kind of nonsense. But let's get into the brass tacks of what Kyrie Irving had to say and some of the responses that were going on. And I didn't want to really edit some of the. I'm gonna show you a few clips. I'm not showing you the entire live, obviously, but I'm gonna show you a few because I didn't want to really edit and do time codes and stuff like that because I want you guys to hear, because some of you guys might not have already seen it. I want everyone to come up with their own, not assumption, but their own conclusion of what Kyrie said. Because me and Jackie and a lot of outlets were saying yesterday that Kyrie needs to come in here and take control of his own narrative, because we're seeing Ted Cruz and all these other dudes taking over and running with Kyrie as if he's a mascot for their beliefs. That's neither here nor there. And Kyrie, at the very final hour in New York, he decided he's going to put this live up, and he did. So sorry, let me get my folder. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So like I said, he basically started off with the whole money conversation, because I think that's one of the main things that we talked about. You're gonna be losing out on a lot of money. And Kyrie, well, he said this:
I gotta make these myself, because it's gonna continue to revolve around this and that, and you're gonna lose out on money, and you're gonna lose out on this. Like, so what? It's not about the money, baby. It's not always about the money. It's about choosing what's best for you. You think I really want to lose money? You think I really want to give up on my dream to go after a championship? You think I really just want to give up my job? You think I really just want to sit at home and not go after the things with my teammates that I've been able to grow with, to learn that it takes sacrifice in this space? Because we could be easily at home chilling with our families, but we're choosing to go out there and perform.
Yeah, right. So that's the money situation. And before, Jackie, I'm gonna get all your thoughts, but I want to play this next one here because there's some sound here, there's some bites in this next one that I want you guys to hear. And I found some things in there like, but then a lot of it, I don't entirely disagree, though I feel like he's still handling it a way I don't know if I would handle it, but at the same time, I don't entirely disagree with some things he said here, though I did disagree with some of the other things he said. But I'm going to let you guys listen to this one right here. This Kyrie Irving continuing his thoughts about him missing the game and the narrative that's going on right now.
And
you got to speak, Kyrie.
I had to stop running away from using my voice and using my platform to speak on what's true and what's mine. Nobody's going to hijack my voice. Nobody's going to take the power away from me that I have for speaking on these things, and don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that shit, man. Like really be aware of what's being said before I even get a chance to be on the podium and speak for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people saying all these things about what's going on with me, and it's just not true. Pay attention to what's going on out in the real world. People are losing their jobs to these mandates. People are having to make choices with their own lives, which I respect. And I don't want to sit here and play on people's emotions either. Just use logic. What would you do?
What?
If you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine. This wasn't an issue before the season started. This wasn't something that I foresaw coming, where I prepared for it. And, I had a a chance to strategize on what was going to be best for me and my family. I came into the season thinking that I was just going to be able to play ball, you know, be able to use my talent to continue to, you know, inspire, influence people in the right way. You know, like putting this on me is just like, why are you putting it on me? You know, like this is not part of, you know, what's going on in conversations with scientists, physicians, and doctors. I'm just a hooper, right? Like I'm just a person who's being utilized as an example. For some odd reason, you know, people love to have my name in the mix of just some BS. Like just hearing the way people speak you know, with so much conviction about what I should be doing with my life and what, you know, my teammates should be feeling about me, what the organization be feeling about me. And
yeah, I was gonna say we don't need to hear the rest of that. Jackie Ray, I'm gonna let you get your emotions out because I heard it. Go ahead. What was the part that got you and triggered you? There's a few parts there.
There's a few parts. Number one, and make sure you watch the story, the stand-up I did about this after. I almost don't even want to tell you why. I'm actually on his side now, and I know I've been emphatically not on his side, but there's some things that he said that just didn't make sense to me. Number one, and you didn't do it. He said, oh, you know, we out here sacrificing to play this game.
Yeah,
okay.
Cut that out. Mm-hmm.
He said, do you think I don't want to be out there playing? You think I want to be sitting at home? And so my first thought was like, sir, you just said it takes sacrifice to play the game instead of sitting at home. But now you're sitting at home instead of making a sacrifice to play the game.
Ding, ding, ding.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Number two, you're this huge advocate for the Black community, but nowhere in this rant did you even mention the fact that Black and Latino people are dying exponentially more than anyone else on this planet from COVID-19. You didn't say that. So you trying to stand with people who have to make a choice between working and not working, but you ain't talking about your people who are literally dying. Like you didn't say anything. You sounded high. If I'm just gonna be honest about it, you sounded high because it sounded like somebody told you, you know what, we should really do a live right now. And he's like, okay. And then he just does. You know what I'm saying? And then he just did this live because he didn't make an ounce of sense. Now, that being said, though, I'm going to drop this little nugget. When he said, okay, the NBA promised us that we didn't have to have mandates for the season. So that, to me, said a couple of things. One, it didn't immediately ring true because I feel like if that was the truth, we would have heard that before we heard anything about Satan. And then Andrew Wiggins would have said that as well. Because trust me when I tell you that Kyrie Irving is not the only person who felt hesitant about taking the vaccine. He's just the only one that's sticking to his guns. That being said, like I said before, I have been out here 100%. Kyrie, take it, just so you can play with your team. I'm off that train. And the reason why I'm off that train is because there is clearly a double standard. So I found out this morning, you know, I wake up to CNN, the New York Post and the Washington Post. I don't know why I wake up to that stuff because it lets you know how terrible the world is. But in New York,
right.
It's not the way to start your day. I should start waking up to cartoons or something. But anyway, so in New York, police officers are not required at this point to get vaccinated. So there are 16,000 New York City police officers who are not vaccinated. The city is not doing anything against them. That's problematic to me because if something happens in Barclays Center, guess who has to respond? The police. Right. Number two, a federal judge has just legally prevented the mandate that the governor set in place from impacting medical workers. So if medical workers and police don't have to get vaccinated, and these are the people that protect us, why does the basketball player have to get vaccinated? It can't be back and forth like this. But he didn't say none of that in his rant, which lets me know he doesn't know any of that.
He's not right. Mm-hmm.
And so why? So if those were your reasons, I would have been like, okay, damn, y'all go ahead with that, Kyrie. Speak your truth. But you're just rambling. You're talking about sacrifices that you have to make just to play the game, and now you're not making sacrifices. You're talking about being blindsided. You're talking about y'all don't even know me when you don't even know the facts. This is a live that shouldn't have been done. He should have done a little bit more research and came out and said, look, that Satan comment, I don't know. Yes, I like that comment on or whatever, that Instagram, but I liked it because I thought it was funny. I don't think that we're being used by Satan. You got to address the nonsense that you put out into the world, sir. But no, Kyrie, this is an absolute fail. Absolute fail.
And that's one thing. Like, I feel like the thought is there. It just didn't come out in the live. I'm glad that he took over and answered some of the things like the retiring thing and those kind of narratives out there. And he took those by the reins and said that. So those are the positives I took away from it. But like you, I felt like this man was digging a hole, and he was just, as he was saying everything, he was like, yeah, man, before the season even started, the team had said that there was going to be an exception for me. And I just thought that maybe if everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like he wasn't really, and with the whole workers thing and stuff like that, understanding, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, lives opposed to people losing jobs right now, I think that takes a little bit more of the president. So I don't know. It felt like he was just grasping on straws and grasping on things that he believes in to further his argument as far as that situation. And people just pointing the finger at Kyrie Irving because he's Kyrie Irving. Like, those kind of things to me were whack arguments for everything that's going on right now. But the one thing I was happy on is that he finally came out and spoke on his name. But I still think he could have done more on that, because he says that he doesn't want to be used as a mascot. But I feel like it's a little too late for that. And it was perfectly put by this Twitter user right here who compiled just a few. These are just a few of them. It was Philip Lewis, actually, who said, Kyrie Irving on Instagram Live right now, I'm not going to be used as some tool to further this agenda. And then I heard this with like an old school, like DC voice. Meanwhile, and then all these other tweets were up there that we're reading right now. So we can get this first one here from Saranovich, if we can get the, because I put every single one there. Saranovich saying, "God is with you, Kyrie," with the praying hands emoji. Even though it's the high five. Ted Cruz, the Houston Rockets could use a point guard at Kyrie Irving. Hashtag Kyrie Irving. He even threw the Uncle Drew in there. I'm never calling him Uncle Drew no more anymore. That ruined that for me. It's like the old uncool person trying to say the cool hip stuff. Anyways, Donald J. Trump Jr. saying Kyrie just sacrificed more than Kaepernick ever did. We talked about that yesterday, idiot. Moving on, right here, we got this guy who says, Kyrie Irving is risking losing $33 million by not getting the vaccine. However, if he refuses, he will be the face of courage against medical tyranny, and history will remember him as a leader. I stand with Kyrie Irving. So, Kyrie, that's all well and good, bro.
That guy, the last tweet that you read, he is the same guy that justifies. He has in the past justified I believe it was the Ahmaud Arbery or what? There's been unfortunately, so many black men that have been unarmed and shot by police that I can't keep track of which one. But he said that the police, their jobs are stressful and they feared for their lives in that moment. So he excuses tyranny on one hand, but he is allowing what he feels tyranny on the other. And to me, if Kyrie sees this, how can Kyrie see this? How can he see people who don't like people who look like him co-signing on this ridiculousness and not take a step back and say, maybe I'm on the wrong side of this?
Right. And that's the thing. Inform us. If all he has is the whole devil comment, inform us more. Let us understand more about what your beliefs are as the reason why you don't want to take this. Because there's a lot, because people are going to take it the way they're taking it and saying that you're doing this and you're doing it for them and you're doing it for, all the stuff that, Ted Cruz and those boys were saying. But if you come out there and let us know, like, religiously this or because of this, then we understand. But if it's really just that devil comment, then I don't know what else to tell you. Those people are going to take your word and they're going to go with it, as they have been, praying like, I'm with Kyrie Irving and Kyrie Irving this, that, and the third. Like, so it's a really hard balance, because the thing is, I would love to see everyone get vaccinated so we can nip this thing in the head. But at the same time, I'm not going to tell someone to put what they believe aside for something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to do that with confidence, to say like what you believe is stupid because right now we need this to happen. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like this whole thing was just, you put it perfectly. He was out there, he was smoking with the boys and said, you know what, man? I saw that Donald Trump Jr. saying something about, I need to go to live and say something about how I feel. And then went out there and just said, yeah, but yeah, I'm not getting the shot. The Nets said I didn't have to. They said I didn't have to. I was going to accept it. Like, come on, man. I don't know. But yeah, the chat going in like, oh, you pick your lane. No, I'm just saying that the live, I'm glad he spoke up, but I just don't know if that was it. And hopefully there will be a follow-up at some point. But we move off of that. Like I said, this saga is nowhere near done. But I'll tell you who's someone who is done, and that is his own teammate, James Harden. At least that's what his facial expressions are showing. And James Harden is not one to hide his facial expressions. My favorite GIF is still his walking away, rolling eyes one. That's one of my favorite ones. He doesn't hide his expressions very well. And yesterday when he was asked about Kyrie Irving, he even he even double checked to hear if the question was what he thought it was, and he quickly answered with this and bounced. Here's James Harden.
Have you talked to Kyrie since the decision came down?
Say it again?
Have you talked to Kyrie since?
No, I haven't talked to him.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
The reason why that makes me laugh, and I get it. He's probably frustrated. He's tired of hearing it. But the reason why that made me laugh is because he knew he heard what he heard. Because the dude couldn't even finish the question the second time before he cut him off. No, I haven't talked to Kyrie. That got me every time. I was like, did he say what he said? He did say what he said. All right, nope, haven't talked to him. All right, we good? I'm out of here. And I get it. I completely get it because they are in a place where they feel like they should be competing for a championship, but the media wants to know more on Kyrie Irving, and that's all they're going to talk about. So, yeah, I'm done talking about it. Here's my truth. Take with it what you will. I'm out. I got practice to go to. I got beard grooming stuff to go do. You know what I mean? Like, so I got it. But James Harden got bad news. It ain't going to get any better with the minute y'all go on a losing streak, they're going to blame it on Kyrie Irving. They're going to ask you about that. But
it's still a little funny to me that he has this attitude with Kyrie Irving for not showing up, and he did the same damn thing without any real,
other side
to the Rockets. Like, sir, you need to dial back a little bit.
So that is another argument. So you think that this is more so on Kyrie than the questions? You think that he has an attitude with Kyrie more than anything else? Like, obviously, yeah, it's not good that he's not talking to him. But to me, I took that as another one of these questions.
But even if that's the case, even if he feels like, oh God, another one of these questions, you put your teammates in the same situation in Houston.
Facts.
That all they were being asked is about you. So either way, you have zero leg to stand on, sir. You need to handle this differently.
That's very true. Especially poor John Wall, who just got there, excited. He even said he was excited to play with James Harden, and then that whole thing happened. Yeah, no, that's very true. Very, 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 very true. Well. All right, well, to greener pastures we go, over to the Los Angeles Lakers. We talked about the new rule with the referees calling less fouls, offense or defensive fouls on the offense, as far as like the flopping shots and all those kind of crazy stuff. And the fact that this media member decided to ask Russell Westbrook about it, his response was as perfect as you could have asked for, because we all know when you think about the fouls that we're talking about, and then you think about Russell Westbrook, you're like, Russell Westbrook, he ain't never really got worried about that. Well, Russ is very aware, and his answer was perfect. Here's that video.
I think it was in the first half. There was a fake three where the defender got near and kind of adjusted it. I mean, ditched 3 free throws the last 3 seasons. Not going to be this year. How big of an adjustment is that going to be with such a weapon for so many people?
Shit, not with me. Ain't too many people flying at me, so I'll be all right. I know, I'm surprised. So, not much adjustment for me. But guys that actually use it all the time, it definitely probably be an adjustment for them.
Facts. I thought that was great. I love it. Russ is not afraid to joke with himself and poke fun at himself. He's right. He's like, ain't nothing I got to worry about. Shoot. They leave me alone, and they know that they can leave me alone because I ain't going to make them all the time. So I thought that was good. I thought it was funny. I'm a fan of people poking fun at themselves. I like that. All right, now, last night, like I said, I was enjoying my Knicks winning, and then this whole Kyrie Irving thing was going on. But there was also another big event that I actually had to tune in on because I didn't realize that this game was as close as it was, and it was Game 2 of the WNBA Finals, and it was thrilling. It was thrilling as hell. The game was going back and forth, an OT performance. But the thing that a lot of people were paying attention to was Devin Booker's camera game. Now, this thing, I thought it was kind of cool. This man got an all gold 2001 looking little camera with the smallest lens I have ever seen in my entire life. And the Bleacher Report said this is all of us watching Game 2 of the WNBA Finals. And then people instantly saw this and they thought of the moment from Shaq when he was videotaping, I think it was the All-Star Dunk Contest. So they put it side by side basically because the cameras seem like they're from the same era. But look, I don't want to end there. I gotta give some love to that game last night. That game was crazy. So I took 3 of these moments. For those who may not have seen it, these 3 moments are crazy because y'all don't understand. Diana Taurasi's still out here doing it. Like she is out there working. Y'all don't believe me? Check out this first highlight right here.
Chicago a +4 on the glass in this game. That has been
this is in overtime, by the way. Tie game. And one.
What?
She does this. She does this, and she gonna keep doing it. You don't believe me? Here we go again, man. This is to take the lead.
Here's Taurasi around the GRINER screen.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness. Block.
Phoenix back in front.
Does this?
Come on,
she
girl.
does this. She does this. And then one of my favorite players, Scott Diggins, she went out there and she sealed the deal with this crazy bucket right here. Defense had no. Scott Diggins, you know what I'm talking about. Shout out Scott, he's doing the thing, tie that series up. But look at this bucket right here. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
Here's Diggins Smith. Diggins Smith.
Seal the deal. I'm out.
Oh, excuse me.
And the lay. What a breakdown.
Game over.
From Skylar Diggins Smith. It's a 2-possession game.
There's the camera. There you guys go. A meme in real life. You saw the meme when it actually happened. There it is. But yeah, it was a dope game. I was very happy I tuned into because I'm listening to the Kyrie Irving thing, and then I'm seeing all these NBA players tweeting about it. Lonzo too. I'm like, wait, is that tonight? And I checked it in. It was in overtime. I'm like, oh damn, all right, hold on, sorry Kyrie, I'll check that out later. And it was definitely worth it. It was a really good game. The series tied 1-1. I thought it was cool, man. I enjoyed that. But it was really cool to see the Suns guys go out there and support because when it was vice versa, when the Suns were in the finals, same thing happened with the Mercury going and showing love for them when they're in the finals. So really dope moment, really cool. And the camera was pretty dope too. But it all coincides with our next post-up moment. Like I didn't just show you all that just to show you all that. I mean, it was entertaining for sure, but it goes with this next moment. Now, when I tell you Diana Taurasi's the GOAT, like it's not a joke. She's the GOAT. She could talk all languages, and Brittany Griner's reaction was how I would feel if I was in the same situation. But check out this post-game interview that Diana Taurasi had.
Aileen Carrasco from
Watch Brittany Griner, though.
Quiero saber cómo te sientes. Un fin de semana muy emocionante para ti, viendo las finales, la vida de tu baby. Y ahora ser nombrada una de las mejores en la liga.
Who's she talking to?
Y bueno, como dije antes, fue 2 días con mucho sentido, con mucho éxito. Ganamos el partido en Las Vegas con este equipo que me encanta tanto, que tengo tanto amor. Y después directamente acá a Phoenix y tuvimos una nenita que está bien de salud.
She said I got Phoenix.
También. Y este partido hoy que queríamos ganar, pero no salió la manera que queríamos ganar. Entonces, de ahora estamos en la casa unos cuantos días.
Like, yo, she is going.
Prepararnos para este próximo partido que va a ser difícil, pero creo que tenemos que venir con diferente ánimo, diferente energía y ojalá que el partido número 2 sea mejor para nosotras.
We'll do. And I'm so mad that the clip cut off because the best part was the reporter at the end. The clip cuts off, but like in the actual interview, the guy's like, "We're gonna do our best to translate that one for everyone else that didn't understand that." I was like, "Yo, we get it. You didn't have to say it. Somebody else would figure it out." But the way you said, it, like, "Oh God, did anyone else get that? Oh, this is gonna be rough for us."
Right.
But yeah, that whole thing was great. Yeah, it's just like I said, it was a whole movie over there.
How many languages does she speak?
That is a good question. But I like Brittany Griner. I didn't know Diana Taurasi could speak Spanish. But there were some tweets that were saying, and it made me think.
Kevin Lang says that's Italian, but Italian and Spanish, depending on.
That's Italian, but
I don't know.
Are we sure? Because
Spanish. I'm
definitely
90%
Spanish.
sure that's Spanish. But I thought I think he's thinking that because I thought she spoke Italian.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear her speak Spanish, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Am I tripping? How many languages does she speak?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, GOAT, real GOAT, GOAT for real.
Did they ever translate what she said?
They might have. She said Phoenix. That's what I heard that too. I think she said something about animals. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard too. I don't know. But yeah, man, it was a dope moment, man. That game was crazy. I might have to be tuning in to game 3 from the jump. I gotta check in because Candace out there doing her thing. Year 1 in Chicago, and she had a great game 1. So I color me intrigued. I gotta see what's going on. So next up we have I hate this. I mean, it's funny. It was funny at first, but now I'm over it. And it's only been up for like 2 days. But there's a whole meme and there's a whole thing going on, trend that's going on Twitter, where people are like posting what's on their notes because I don't know. In this instance, this lady was asking like, "What do men put in their notes?" And Chris Bosh's response I thought was actually really funny. So he put this up here, and she said, "Yeah, what do men write in the notes at?" And he's like, "Important reminders to do: get rebound, pass back out to Allen." As you can see, both of them were checked off, and I love the time of it. I thought that was funny too. The whole thing, he did well. Well done, Chris Bosh. Well done. But yeah, I'm over this meme. It's not. It's like, okay, because some of them are pretty funny. Other ones, I'm just like, I see what you're trying to do, but it's not funny. I don't know. It's whack to me. I ain't for it. This next one, the final post up before we get to what we not gonna do. This one's for the boys. All right, and ladies too. If you are no, it's not an iPhone nor a telescope. I'm gonna show you this video, and I'm gonna show you why real ones like myself know how to get away from the herd and stop being one of them sheep and go get a phone with a mind of its own. All right. Now this man right here was at a baseball game and he was kind of far away from the action, so he pulled out his phone to get as close to it as possible. And I'm gonna let you guys take a good look, take a nice gander at what the phone is, and I'll let you guys give your wrong answers in the chat so I can quickly answer which phone it actually is. But show the video.
I need to know what phone this is.
Oh man, it's an iPhone, right? It's definitely an iPhone. Come on, it's the new iPhone. No, that phone, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately I have a case on so you can see it is the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus Ultra. Because your boy got one too. You know how you can tell. You know how I know? You see the little dot at the top. I mean, don't mind the case, but you see there's a dot at the top. Watch my man's phone.
Yeah.
Because I know y'all look up your little iPhone Maxes and your 13 and stuff. Y'all got that hairline.
Let me see.
You see the dot? Let it zoom in a little bit, Leo. Hold on.
I don't see no dot.
Wait for it. Boom. Stop. Thank you.
Oh, I see.
We'll talk again. And you want to see the settings? I can show you my settings on my camera feature. I got you guys. If you guys don't want to, it's cool. Like, I understand because, iPhones, that's what we're supposed to be so worried about. I can show you the settings too. They look, they look very similar. I'm trying to show y'all. There you go. Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's cool. It's not a big deal. See, when you zoomed in, it takes up the whole entire screen, but that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is, kids, I understand that, you can use the memes, the video meme and the green bubble, which Jackie loves to talk about so crazy, oh, Android this, you guys are good. Well, let me tell you something. The camera on this thing is phenomenal, and you can see it from my man right here. So shout out, brother. Yes, right. We are, we over here doing our own thing with the Samsung crew. I love it. I love my phone.
I will say one thing, and
what is it, Jackie Ray?
Wait, now just stay calm and listen.
All right.
So I got into this same debate with a friend. I'm like, because this phone is so big. I'm like, that phone, why you got a piece of toast in your pocket? It's so damn big, blah, blah, blah. iPhone is better. And he, as like a G, just sat down and grabbed my laptop and he started typing and he Googled something. He said, come read this. And I read it and it says iPhone doesn't even have its own parts. They get all of their parts for Samsung.
That's why they're always second all their ideas. They sell it really good. They have the whole, bandstand and people, with Tim Cook and all that kind of. They sell it great. But then if you ever look it up and you always Google the new features, you'll see that about a year ago or 12 months ago, that's already on one of these Samsung phones. But hey, that's neither here nor there. But y'all so focused on the videos that send to iPhones, they don't come up. That's because of Apple, because they so stingy and they don't want to see our quality videos on here, so it comes out all small and pixelated. But look, I'm just saying, look, man, I love my phone. Y'all get what you want to get. If you want to be on a half-eaten Apple, use your little half-eaten Apple phone. But over here in Samsung, we zooming in and watching games from the nosebleeds, man. That's what I'm talking about. But anyways, I love my phone, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. You see all these cameras? See how many cameras on this thing? Look at that thing. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, shoot, man. That's called video. Anyways, Jackie, I thought you was gonna cut me off. I could go all day. You want me? I could put on a suit and I could sell pictures. Yes, sir. Look at, we got Ty in the building. Okay, hold on. I see Ty. I see Cristobal. Yes, sir. All right. Look, Samsung gang, we in here. Jackie Ray.
So I don't know if you want to. Let's just move on. It's time to move on. We've been on.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Jackie Ray. Look, there's nothing that I don't need to do because I'm already doing it. But please inform us of what we're not gonna do on this fine Thursday.
Yeah, I don't have the cameras. I'm looking right now. Your cameras definitely look better than my camera. Whatever. Let's move on to what we're not gonna do. Because what I'm not gonna do is get a new phone either way. So let's talk about this one. Because somebody in the chat said, "Oh, you guys better give Gruden the same, heat that you're giving, Kyrie." We already did that. We already dragged him to the hills and back. But now it's time to go for his, I guess, young counterpart. I'm not a Derek Carr fan. If you're new here, let me just let you know that now. I am not a Derek Carr fan. There's nothing about him. He just doesn't exude anything to me. So I'm just not a fan. I've never liked Gruden. You guys who have been with the Fumble for a while, every time I have to talk about Gruden, way before I knew anything about these tapes, I talk trash. Don't like the man. He always rubbed me the wrong way. So that's just first and foremost. But I personally, again, if you're new here, I've said this before. I don't believe that people change at their core. Sure, when you're young, when you're still learning the world and learning who you are as a person, then maybe, yes, you can change and grow. But there's no way in hell I believe that 58-year-old Gruden is different than 48-year-old Gruden. No way in hell I believe that. And on top of that, it's not 10 years ago that he showed us who he was. The Colin Kaepernick situation was, 5 years ago? And he showed that he had disdain for a black man standing up against an organization that seems to kill unarmed black people at will. He had a problem with that. He had a problem with anyone, specifically Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed, protesting against that. So, yeah, these emails just came out. Yeah, they are from 10 years ago, but he let us know off top who he was. So, that being said, I don't like Derek Carr even more now because he's saying things to me that don't make sense. The true test of a leader is when you call out the BS for what it is. And sometimes you just have to say, you can't make excuses for it. You can't dismiss it. You just have to call it out for what it is, especially when you're in a locker room of people that are represented by this man's racism. You got to step up and do better. But let me show you some of the things that Derek Carr said. So let's get to this first one. He said, when asked about Gruden, he said, he's never rubbed me a certain way. The type of way, I mean, what he said is what he said. And at the end of the day, too, but I mean, I definitely trust him. I mean, it was 10 years ago, people grow. 10 years ago, people grow. You understand that this kind of makes sense as to why he traded away Malik, right? Does everybody understand that all of a sudden things start coming together based off what we learn now? But okay, let's move on. So Cassie also talked about some things that he talked about when he was asked about it. Now, this one I have to address because he says, our conversation still happening? He's talking about, someone asked, I think it was her, our conversation still happening in the locker room about what happened. And he said, our conversation still happening? Absolutely. Another part of being a leader is making sure guys are okay. This is the biggest story in sports right now. You turn on the TV and it's what's on. I'm sad for our organization. I'm sad for our fans. So let me just explain what a leader is from personal experience, y'all. A leader, you cannot see what someone's going through. You can't see that they have valid points and reasons to be pissed. And then you go in and dismiss it by saying, hey, you know what? But he's a good guy to me. I don't have a problem with him. That's not what a leader does. You have to lead people through their anger. And in some cases, try to empathize with their anger. He totally missed that mark when he said this next one. So let me show you this next one. He says, I love the man, but I hate the sin. They used to say this when I was going to church. And when I tell you it used to rub me wrong then, it rubs me wrong now too. He says, I love the man, but I hate the sin. If we started opening up everyone private emails and text, people would start sweating a little bit. But maybe that's what they should do for all the coaches, GMs, and owners from now on. You have to open up everything, see what happens. First of all, I am okay with the end of that. Second part, y'all can open up every email, text message, direct message I've ever sent. I am not going to sweat. Is there things in there that you guys might not like? Probably. Are they things that I've already said on this show? Probably. I am not two different people. I am not one way in public and another way in private, because that's where you get into these types of situations when you try to be fake in public. Now, I would think that Gruden, maybe 48-year-old Gruden, thought it was okay to be racist in emails, and maybe 58-year-old Gruden knows I can only be racist at home. Maybe he made that kind of growth, but that's not something that goes away once you hit that 48 mark. You ain't all of a sudden a racist at 48 and just a born again whatever at 58. That's not how that goes. You still have remnants of that within you. And you can't say, I love this person, but I hate what he did, when what he did impacts the people. I'm not saying that you should say you hate him, but you have to own that Gruden did this. What he did isn't a standalone thing. It's not separate from who he is. And when you say that, that's when you start, it looks like you're condoning, well, like, he's still a great guy, though. Like, I know that he doesn't care that police kill unarmed Black people, but guy, though, I know he thinks that women, that he sent around nude pictures and kind of pointed and laughed at the women who, from the Washington cheerleading squad, that were photographed nude, but he's still a great guy, though. No, you have to call out the person, because the person committed the sin. The sin ain't just out here willy-nilly and you trip over it. No, you committed the sin. Derek Carr needs to be the leader that he claims he is. And in this moment, I think he is completely missed it, which I'm not surprised, because I don't think he is a leader. But this is the wrong way to handle this situation. But that could be just me. Chris, what do you think about what Derek Carr said?
I was very surprised by this, because I always got the impression that Derek Carr and John Gruden never really got along. I felt like John Gruden was trying to get rid of Derek Carr from the moment he got to the team. So for him to stick up for him so blindly, it feels like it caught me off guard. So that was my initial thought seeing this. And secondly, yeah, I don't understand why he's going so hard for him. I don't know. I can't even say that I get where he's trying to come from. But again, you can pick and choose any kind of thing. Like, well, he's a good person, but bad sin. Like, no, then he's a bad person. That's not necessarily how that works. And I'm with you. I'm all for people changing and people improving themselves. But from 48 to 58, I don't know how much more different you're gonna be in that span. You see the chat?
Francisco, I am dead. He said, you can open my emails, you won't find anything. Right. Now, my search history is another story.
I saw too. Yeah, man, I don't know. I was surprised that he was sticking up for him so hard, because I had the impression that they did not like each other.
Yeah, and I just feel like, I mean, this is one of those things where if you guys ever become famous, and I know a lot of you guys are young, so that is a possibility for you. Maybe you'll be a politician or an actor, or maybe you'll be in sports. Just take this one nugget of advice, and then when it happens to you, just make sure you give me my credit. Short and sweet. Short and sweet. Like, you know what happened was bad. And I know a lot of people in the locker room are affected by it, but we're going to go in there. We're going to talk about it. We're going to band together, and we're going to move on as a team, period. Yeah. And every time they ask you that, regurgitate that, because the more you talk, the sillier you look sometimes. But, it's just.
We had two examples of that today.
Short and sweet. Right.
We had two examples
of that today. Glad we can help. Some of y'all are going to need that in the future, because I do believe y'all are going to go on and do great things in your life. Remember, you heard it here first. Less is more. Less is more. That's all I got for what we're not going to do. We're going to end a little bit early today. Like I said, go check out the story I did about Kyrie, because I go into, oh God, here we go. You could have let me get my sentence out.
I wasn't going to cut you off. You're doing great. You are doing great. Don't mind me. Let's do what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
And wait, where's my button? You don't have a button.